Hi, I'm Frstenra, and welcome back to Bendy and the Dark Revival. Oh yeah, right. Whoa! I forgot about those. Yeah, right, I can teleport. Crouch. Stupid keeper. Can't keep up with me. Oh. Okay.
That's where the ghosts live. Just beyond that door.
What?
The keeper's prison. The pit. No one ever comes out. At least, they're never quite the same. But I could open the door for you. I do know how. I really do.
Thank you. That would...
But first, maybe play a game. Oh, I love to play games. I like hide and seek best. Find me, and I'll open the door for you. I promise. Look away while I hide, and no peeking.
Okay. Looking at Heidi, Heidi kind of reminds me of some of the ghosts from Luigi's Mansion. How Heidi talks kind of reminds me of Moaning Myrtle, I think the ghost is called, from Harry Potter. That's in the restroom, bathroom. I see something glowing up there. Can I do this? I can. Okay. And swoosh. Well, that wasn't very successful. Can I go straight from down here though? I can. Who would have ever dreamed, in the declining years of my life, I have some more precious to me than any piece of art I could make. For all the evil that's come for me, this is something finally good. When she laughs and smiles, it fills my heart so much it overflows. We play and talk as we both learn from each other. There's not much time, so every moment has to count. Unlike my versions that came before her, the ones who called me their uncle, I'm proud to have her call me Dad, because she is truly my daughter. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna head. That's a battery. Is that a dead end? Yes, I think it is. If I drop down, you don't hear anything because you're a dumb keeper. Bonk. Okay, you're not Heidi. What was in this way? I have forgotten. What is in this way? That's not great. Right. So maybe not. Right. Where? Huh. Have I been up here? I'm getting confused. Oh, jeez. I was too focused on the log. Hello.
You did it! You found me! Oh, this is so exciting! You were brilliant!
Now, can you open that door for me?
Oh, yes, the door. I think you'll find it's open now. Oh, and also, let me give you something. Something special. Just a small reminder of our playing together.
Fast travel. Ooh. What was behind is now ahead. Interact with linker pipes to fast travel between two specific locations. Dark places you've already been may hold new secrets. Right. But yeah, right, I'm not. And bam. Really? I sprinted right behind you and I didn't notice. Cycle breakers.
Really?
What? Deep 6 level badge required beyond. Deep 6 level badge. Subject 414. Okay.
Excuse me. Sir? Can you help me?
You must be really lost to be asking me for help.
I'm just looking for answers. About the Keepers, Wilson, the cycle. Anything could help.
What's your name?
Audrey. What's yours?
Honestly, I've almost forgotten. My name is Henry.
Have you been a prisoner long?
The Keepers think you're a threat to their plans. They lock you away. Forever. Still, it's given me time to think. Things like, if you haven't eaten in years, you might not be human.
Why would you be a threat to them?
I'm what they call a cycle breaker. Once upon a time, I knew how to start the cycle over. And when that happens, everything begins again. Completely new. Obviously, Wilson and the Keepers don't want that to happen.
How did you do it?
Reset the cycle. Turns out the Ink Demon himself is the key. This world is his, but even he must obey its rules. For now, at least. If you can get him to look at something very specific, it will reset everything.
What is it?
It's just a reel of film, labeled with the words "The End." I can see it in my mind every day. They keep it upstairs in the pit.
I'll see if I can break in and steal it. Maybe if I reset the cycle, we could make things better for everyone here.
And what about you?
I just want to go home.
So did I. Good luck, Audrey. If you need me again, you know where to find me.
If I remember. Jeez, Louise. If I remember correctly, Henry is the dude that we played in the first game. Hide, no. Search. The empty cabinet. Who's behind door number 2? Well, I guess if you're stuck in there, you'll have plenty of time to learn how to play the banjo. Sounds like the banjo, actually. Sounds like a banjo. No. Right. Why did your eye keep following me? That's a bit creepy, though. Okay, so nothing except for the creepy head. Why is there a huge ass creepy head there, though? Adder. Nice. Do you open? I don't know. Contraband. Fire axe, an LP player, and I think I remember that item was to see hidden paintings. Are you worthy to walk with angels? That depends on who angels. What the pet? This was the research wing. Top level badges required. I have all the badges. Apparently. That's another dead ink blob. Okay. Yeah, that's just. Oh, jeez. Oh, there's always hope. Sure. Enter case. You have They have 3 arms. 2 on the right and 1 on the left. That's creepy.
A savior comes at last.
Wilson?
Rest yourself, Audrey. You're still weak. The Keepers can be relentless to strangers. But there's nothing to fear as long as I'm with you. You're safe now.
You did this to me. You brought me here. Turned me into this thing. This doesn't make sense. I've never done anything to you.
Open your eyes and look around you. None of this makes sense. Drawn walls, nightmarish creatures, an ancient studio that died out almost 30 years ago. It's all fiction, utter nonsense. And yet, in here, it exists. It breathes. It flourishes. reality, guided by its master's pen. The foundation for a new reality. We can bleed into our own. Just think of it. Anything we create in here, we can release out there. But first, this world must be controlled, made safe. These things, these angels and demons, are they really life? Or are they just stains? Old mistakes ready to be cleansed away for newer, greater things.
What do you want from me?
I need your help to save my father's life. This is our start. We'll talk more once we're safely inside.
Chapter 5: The Dark Revival. Smack, smack, smack. What's with all the suitcases?
Stay close. This place isn't as safe as it once was.
Signal towers are nearby. Abilities have been disabled. What? Yeah. Okay, so hi. Bonk. Ah, stepping on your cable pipes, or whatever I should call them. Okay, I guess I'm supposed to go up there. So I'm gonna walk every other direction than up there. Dinah Dean's Top Shoe Polish. Old Track 77 is a quiet place these days. Ever since that terrible crash a few years back, people don't like to hang around. Too many strange things keep happening on this platform. Last week, one of the railmen told me they had reports of some train going through that wasn't on schedule. There were figures standing in the cars, staring through the windows, but it never stopped to let no one off. It just kept going straight through. Some say it was the Silver Line Express, the train that crashed. Kitty Thompson. I remember actually seeing, I don't know if it was a series or just an episode about the Silver Line Express, where there was like this ghost train, and if you step on, you are doomed to just stay on, and then you just stay on for eternity. That's that.
The demon's evil continues to spread. This world has begun to shudder.
Be quiet.
What did you say?
Nothing. It was nothing.
Almost there. Just a quick stop. Won't take but a moment.
Funnily enough, I actually believe the Ink Demon more than Wilson, the man who pretends to kill the Ink Demon. Weapons are not allowed beyond this point. Please place all weapons and contained ink on the holding desk to the right.
The subject will stand in the designated location.
Okay.
Lethal object detected. Subject will submit all weapons for further screening. Disarm now.
Ta-da!
Remain still for examination.
We don't need no.
Subject is cleared for entry.
Oh my, that's some colorful sparks though.
Welcome to the civilized world. How do you like my signal towers? They nullify the Ink Demon's powers so he cannot pass them. I wish I could say I invented them, but it seems our friends at the Gent Corporation had a demon problem of their own long ago.
Why do NPCs always walk slower than your normal speed?
And now, my dear, if you'll excuse me, I have a lot to prepare. We'll talk later, I promise. Besides, you must be very tired. A quick rest will do you good. Betty will show you to your room. She's my housekeeper, among other things.
You never actually killed the Ink Demon, did you?
No, he's too powerful to destroy. So we sealed him away, trapped him in a different form. One that was smaller, harmless.
Bendy.
It was a fitting prison, although he seems to have found a way to free himself. But enough talk. We'll deal with that soon enough.
There's some nice fresh blankets all laid out for you. You'll be dreaming in no time.
Wait, Wilson? One more thing. If you needed my help, why didn't you just ask?
Would you have believed me?
Come along, and no more dawdling. This way now.
That was not the accent I was expecting from the
Oh, you're here at last.
robot person.
It's so exciting, finally having you with us. Now, to give you some bearings, we're currently standing in the south wing. Wilson's laboratory is downstairs, and then there's the north wing.
Okay.
The Ink Demon got in there a while ago, and ever since, we've had to keep the north wing locked up tight. I'm afraid it's fallen into ruins by now. All those juicy, lovely books gone to waste. Only keepers go there these days, and they'll tear you apart limb from limb if Wilson isn't with you. So, mind your distance, and you'll be just fine.
Okay, so the north wing is where we will be going, I guess.
It's not very often I have guests to look after, especially one I can actually talk to. Almost everyone here either can't speak or they're completely mad.
Wait, are you?
Alright, here we are. Best room in the
Is
house.
it just a mask? Kind of looks like you're just wearing a mask. Why though?
You should see where I sleep. Ugh. But this room, oh, just perfect. I saw to every detail. Bed is clean. The bathroom is on the left. Sorry about the stains. I did try my best to get them out.
Thanks. I guess. For sleeping draft, pinch of salt, cocoa. Say. Mix everything in a glass and then drink exactly 3 sips of water. Okay.
Did you have any questions?
Is it always night here?
It's always dark, if that's what you mean. For as long as I can remember.
Are you very old?
No. As far as I understand it, I'm something quite new. Although, I didn't turn out the way I was supposed to. One in a long line of failed experiments. But we'll keep trying.
And do you trust Wilson?
This is the realm of the ink demon. The shadow hangs over us all. I don't trust anyone. But Wilson takes care of me, keeps me safe. He once said I remind him of something he called his mother. Tell me, is that a good thing, where you two are from?
I'm not sure. I don't think I ever had one.
Well, no matter. Now, I was told to make sure you get some sleep once you got here. So get nice and comfy and relax. I left something on the table that might just help you nod off. It's my own recipe. Works very fast. Just follow the instructions. Carefully.
Thanks, Betty.
Of course. If you need anything else, I'll come straight away. I'm always up.
Gilson. What's a Gilson?
I don't know. The Mug and the Maidens, Volume 1 by Sir Wilton Moore. Chapter 1, The Dangerous Forest. There's multiple... I am not reading all that. What the heck is that smell, said Evil. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pages. Kinda wanna read it though. Okay, screw it. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there lived a mug of cheese, but it was not an ordinary mug of cheese as you would find in any home or kitchen of the age. Now this mug of cheese was a distant descendant of one of the 3 grand flagon kings, the same kings who had charged on horseback to defend their capital city during the unforgettable conquests of the previous century, to which these flagon kings he hailed from. The mug was unsure, but still there was honor and courage in his heart. His family line herald of deeds long past that had forever changed the course of a stoop history. Did he have a name? Of course, all mugs of cheese have names. This is common knowledge, just as every fruit bat is really named Stanley. The mug of cheese was named Richter the Cracked. What a name! I can hear you say, cracked indeed. This mug of cheese bears no damage that I can see. Fall silent, you small-minded bass, for therein lies our intriguing story. Let's begin at the beginning. It was hot winter day in the forest, one of those where everything is dull brown. The lake was still, the birds had shut up, and the trees were but sticks in the overcast sky, save for a lone pine that skimmed the clouds above the painter's brush. It was on this day that Mr. Darblemouse was in a hurry. He had just been named as Vermin of the Year by the society brethren that lived under the old church, and it was customary for the honoree to bring the fine port wine cheese to the ceremony. There were only hours to locate some of the precious cuisine. Fortunately, Miss Darblemouse knew exactly where to find it, the dark cellar below the governor's castle, but unfortunately he approached the loose plank of wood in the old wall. He failed to realize that the heavy rains that had come during the night had passed moisture into the plank, making it heavier than usual. Thus, when he pushed the plank with all his might, it lifted just enough to push his body only halfway through. But his strength just couldn't contend with the weight of the plank, and his arms failed. The plank snapped back down, crushing him flat. After all, this story is not about Mr. Darblemouse, or had you forgotten the mug of cheese already? I can see how you might connect the two. Mr. Darblemouse was, after all, looking for cheese, and we were talking about the mug of cheese before. Sadly, I must inform you that there is no relation between Richter the Cracked and the rodent who is now nothing more but smooshed guts inside the wall. Except that there is. It was the death of Miss Darblemouse that started all the trouble. You see, when things die, they tend to smell, and that's just what Mr. Darblemouse did. But that's not all. His body, pinned between the outside and inside wood wall, had made a perfect passage for the hot winter wind. The wind therefore carried the stench of his decaying mouse carcass deeper into the governor's home, like a snaking, twisting a wisp of terror. The smell settled into a little tavern near the courtyard of the castle. Here, soldiers would spend many long hours when there was no bloodlust to soothe with battle. Strong ales and red meats filled the menu from back to front at this rustic, medieval, greasy spoon. Mostly the customers came to look upon the barmaidens. Maxine, who was actually named Rita, was by far the best-looking creature in all the governor's county. There was a beautiful deer woman just over the hill, but no one knew that. By day, Rita scrubbed her tavern so clean you could eat off of it, which was fortunate, as it was the place you indeed would be eating, since it was a tavern. By night, she served her customers with charm, grace, but mostly with drinks. Did I mention that Rita was married? Wow, I am mentioning it now. Rita was married. Her husband's name was James. He didn't do much until he died. The smell of Miss Darblemouse knocked him flat, and that, my friends, was that. Oh dear. This story has barely begun, and already we've killed two major characters. Needless to say, Rita was deeply distressed by the whole thing, but 20 or so minutes later she realized she couldn't mourn forever, and went to buy some cheese. Ah, yes, don't worry, dear reader. This time the mention of cheese will probably guide us to the meeting of our focal hero of the tale. Also, this is a good time to start a new chapter. Chapter 2. A new chapter. Rita entered the cheese shop with her guns blazing. I am speaking metaphorically, of course, by which I mean she entered the cheese shop quite determined to buy some cheese. This was because just the night before, as her husband James was taking a note of weird smell in the room, she had invented a delicious new concoction, a cheddar cider. It was sure to be a hit with her patrons. After all, the governor's county only had 2 exports, cheese and grapes, and she couldn't possibly make a drink from a grape. But back to the cheese shop scene. Rita knocked on the counter loudly with her fist, causing the nearby cat to do absolutely nothing, as cats do. From behind the wall she heard a stir as someone was crashing through piles of cheese to make their way toward her. Emerging gloriously from torn yellow curtains, an old man came into view. He was a giant in stature with a long, long grey beard. Bobbing along and stuck within his beard were all manner of cheese crumbs and wedges, wrapped tightly within his hairs. But yet he held even more cheeses and ropes pulled across his chest, with loops of provolone linked like sausages over one shoulder. His eyes were big, and his ears were even bigger. A smile of kindness erupted from his face as he locked eyes with Rita. My, the curs are kind to me this hour. Hello and welcome, he bellowed. Rita bowed low and promptly began to cry. The shop owner looked at her perplexed. What did I say wrong? The barmaiden sniffed and snooted, and finally answered, "Forgive me, for my husband has just died, and I'm out of Swiss." I am going to pause now in the story to ask myself why Mr. Darblemouse went to the cellar in the governor's house for cheese, if there was a cheese shop nearby. I think it's best that we overlook this glaring problem in the plot, don't you? Now, back to the story at hand. Rita purchased a large amount of cheese from the shop owner. She brought cheese wheels and cheese melts and cheese slices. She bought cheese whistles and cheese bread. She bought cheese paper and cheese sandwiches. She bought so much cheese, in fact, that she had lost track of all that she had obtained, and just dumped all the fromage into a large burlap sack for the return journey to the tavern. "Goodbye, Rita," the shop owner called as he waved farewell. "Goodbye, Daniel," she called back. His name was Murray, by the way. Overburdened by her treasure, Rita made her way back home, following the main road to the castle. But, as it always happens, the road was now under repair. A man with a skinny mule was plowing the dirt so that he could put down new cobblestone. 4 of his associates were standing by, watching him. The job would take a few years to finish, but Rita was in a hurry, so she followed a detour sign that told her to take a different road to her left. Unfortunately, no one could read in the governor's county, so she went right instead. This mishap took her deep into the forest, where absolutely nothing of interest happened. Except something of interest did happen. As she trod on through the forest, her sack of cheese weighing her down, muttering complaints along the way, little did she know that danger lay just ahead. This danger was cunning and dangerous, and had one of those out-of-place eyebrow hairs that drives you nuts when you're talking to someone who has one. This danger we will call Bernard, the big, ugly lizard man who wears a blue cloak. Bernard did not often have visitors in his house. This was because he lived outside. Also, he was rather fond of human flesh, which made him very unpopular. So obviously, you can see the drama unfolding here. The beautiful but tired Rita huffing and puffing upon the winding path as she approached a certain doom. Bernard watching from behind a nearby tree, licking his lips. Oh, the tension is tense, is it not? At this point in time, we must pause again to ponder all the possibilities that can happen now in our story. 2 characters have died already. Surely a third wouldn't hurt anything. Are you perhaps just reading this story because you want to see who will get the axe next? You're a little warped. Do you know that? Well then, let's see what happens next. Bernard stepped from behind his hiding place. His eyebrow hair gleamed in the fading sun. "Dear madam, why must you pass through so fast?" he called with his eyes glimmering. "I must get home, Bernard, because, for one, it's getting late and I have customers to serve, and second, because you eat people," Rita replied. "Poppycock, balderdash, codswallop! I won't hear these lies against my character," he detested. "For I, Bernard, the big, ugly lizard man who wears a blue cloak, have completely reformed myself." Rita squinted suspiciously at him. "You have?" Bernard put a hand on his heart. "I have. I no longer prowl or pounce. I won't attack or bounce. I will not kill or maim or tear. I won't crush or even bite you anywhere. I promise I won't devour any more." "My gosh, you have become a bore. If you aren't going to be a danger in this story that I've come all this way with 100 pounds of cheese for nothing," Rita grumbled. She boosted her sack further up her shoulder and turned with an angry grunt. But Bernard waved after her in panic. Wait! It's all a ruse. I intended to eat you, dear woman. I swear it, he cried. It's all a trick, you see. A new angle. It worked on some guy yesterday. Oh, please stay. Rita sighed, her strength about gone from the long adventure she had taken since she left home that morning. She turned back to face Bernard. All right, she said. But your part in the story better lead to an unexpected turn of events. Oh, it will. Bernard clapped and waggled his clawed finger to motion her to draw nearer. Just wait until the next chapter. Chapter 3, the next chapter. Isn't that the same name as the second chapter? All looked quite dire for Rita. Bernard had her within his grasp. Surely it would just be mere moments before his jaw collapsed upon her head. Oh, what horrible end for Rita! Needless to say, I am worried for her. But, as luck would have it, miles and miles away, 20 years earlier, something amazing happened. 2 mugs of cheese, a Gouda and a mozzarella, welcomed their first son into the world. I don't think I need to tell you his name. It was Dave. No one liked Dave. After that, their second son came forth, Richter the Cracked. Just called Richter at that time. Richter spent his early life stealing cowbells and putting them on skunks. This way people always knew when danger was nearby. Needless to say, Richter was one smart mug of cheese. But all could not remain perfect forever, and suddenly the great skunk famine began. Richter found his world in array, and he saw a new purpose. Fortunately, there was an opening in the governor's county for an adventure at a time, and since he was a descendant of the 3 Grand Flagon Kings, he was boosted to the head of the line. Because, as we are all quite aware, even in olden times, it is not what you know, it is who you know. Thus, the adventures of Richter began. He braved deep dungeons, he slayed great beasts, he climbed the highest mountain peaks. He sailed around the world, despite that he didn't even own a boat. Richter was truly the stuff of legend. But did I mention the curse? Yes, fair readers, there is a curse, a fiendish and terrible curse. One morning, while Richter was in Governor's County, he came upon a witch named Witch. This witch has just pulled a pound cake from her oven, where she then proceeded to start ingesting it, right there in front of the walk of her home. At once, Richter knew this creature was pure evil, eating cake this early in the morning, and without ice cream. That was truly a fiend that needed to be vanquished. Richter jumped her fence and pulled his sword. Would you like some pound cake? The witch offered. It looked quite delicious. Richter would not let himself be seduced into an early morning cake, so he approached closer with his weapon at her throat. The witch began to sweat with a mouthful of crumbs. I also make a mean scone if you want to wait. Now, no gentleman or gentle mug would refuse a good scone, so Richter withdrew his sword and patiently waited for the witch to create these new buttery pastries. But what he didn't know was that the witch accidentally had bumped her table and had added within the mixture a vial of cursed liquid. See, I told you there was a curse. You were forewarned. The moment Richter ate the scones, he fell into a deep sleep. The witch, baffled, finished her cake and proceeded to get a civil service job in a nearby town. As the years rolled by, all that remained of the witch's house was carried off by elves, and her garden became overgrown. This left only Richter asleep in the forest, with no end to his dreaming in sight. But the story thankfully does not end here, for As luck would have it, a giant man covered in cheese with big eyes and big ears wandered past the sleeping mug, in case you've forgotten. This was the cheese shop owner, Murray, sometimes called Bill. Unable to resist cheese of any kind, even a mug of the stuff, Murray took Richter to his shop and set him on a shelf. Here Richter sat for many years until a very fateful day. You see, in Rita's haste to gather up all the cheese she had purchased, she had swept a few things that did not belong to her in a sack as well. These included the cat on the counter, a personalized pen, Murray's cash box. I think she'll be hearing about this eventually. And last but not least, Richter himself, still deep asleep. So now that you know two stories have come together, let's go discover what happened next to Rita and Richter in the climax chapter. Chapter 4. The climax chapter. It was the same hot winter day in the forest as Miss Mouse was finally starting to get concerned. Just down the road, Rita was being drawn toward an almost certainly bloody and horrific end to her life. Bernard was just moments from taking her within his lizard jaws and were mere hours from tearing his eyebrows. Rita stood her ground. She was no damsel in distress, but simply a person who was pretty darn tired by this point. She pulled the burlap sack of cheese from her body and swung it hard with every last bit of strength she had left in her. An ear-shattering crack broke through the silent trees as the bag made contact with Bernard's shocked face. His teeth flew in all directions, falling like pebbles to the ground. His eyeballs dislodged and rolled into a nearby stream. His jawbone turned completely around and planted himself on the back of his head. Bernard ran screaming into the woods, never to be seen this week. His cries faded and the forest once again fell soft and quiet. A cow walked by. Rita, still standing with her sack outstretched in her arms, stood wide-eyed and what just happened. Surely no cheese in her bag was hard enough for that kind of impact. As he placed her burlap sack upon the dirt and peeled it open, she was amazed to find Richter, the mug of cheese, inside, looking quite dazed. He had awakened, and the curse was finally lifted. Somewhere behind the desk, the witch looked up and nodded with a smile. But, oh dear reader, look what was now upon his mug body, a giant and elegant crack, the very mark of a warrior. His hero's journey was finally complete. Richter the Cracked had emerged. Yes, it is true that Richter really didn't do anything important in the attack on Bernard. Just by Richter being here was at the perfect time he had saved Rita. The Fates were with them. Richter and Rita talked and laughed and ate cheese until the sun went down. Finally, they packed up their picnic and headed back to the tavern where they met with cheers and excitement. This is mostly because the guys had found out that Rita was now single. As the night wore into an early morning of the hours, the tavern remained alive in the castle courtyard with singing and dancing and cheddar cider. Oh, what celebration! But like all parties of such proportion, eventually everyone sobers up and have to go home. Before long it was dawn. The sun began to rise steadily in the west, making a fresh adventure on the horizon. A wind of new direction began to blow with a more steady pace. It skittered across the ground and found its way between the floorboards of the governor's castle. Here, against all odds, it found the bare remaining body of Mr. Darblemouse. The wind carried stench far beyond the borders of the castle, over the mountains and deep within a dark cave where evil slept. "What the heck is that smell?" said Evil, awakening with hellfire burning behind his eyes. Eventually, news of this great evil spread from town to town until it reached the ears of Richter the Cracked. He polished his sword and gathered some crumbs of bread stored in his mug. Wearing his best expression of courage, Richter once again set off to conquer the day. His story was not yet over. But for now, dear reader, we return to our own lives. So let us end this tale with one closing thought, shall we? Be we cracked, or small, or even dead, there's always a purpose to where we're all are led. Be brave and strong, and lest we forget, fate isn't quite done with any of us just yet. Cool! That was an interesting story. Okay, so I need to find some something.
The machine speaks to me, revealing its many possibilities. What I can accomplish using its power is beyond any measure. Life and death can become a thing of the past. Poverty and hunger, a distant memory. I can remake the world anew. But does the world deserve such a gift? For now, I have bigger matters at hand. A man in a black coat came asking at the front desk about the machine. Said he was from the Gent Corporation. Fortunately, the receptionist knew nothing, and he left quietly. Later, I found his name on the sign-in form. Mr. Alan Gray.
Chapter 7. Spatial Displacement of Unknown Elements. Let us imagine a long wire stretching between 2 points in known time. We call this length of time euphonic base. From here, we can dispel all needs of societal normalcy and all typical understood junctions of the world we know as the present. Once the euphonic base is achieved, it creates a shared understanding that there must be space around the wire. That is not the wire itself. This space, a crumbly vacuum, could be in itself a host to many wires running in as many directions as we can perceive. Using a vessel of flow, flux, break, we can escape from our wire to another wire. This allows us not just to reveal alternate time specs, but command them with a larger understanding of their existence. Further still, in theory, we can bring elements of one world into another, displacing matter into a new state regardless of the current house wire rules. The reality and function of the elements becomes a new euphonic base.
Nothing here.
Chocolate bacon soup.
Well, that didn't tell me anything. So...
There. Killianfish. This one is a strange little fish that is pretty hard to come by. The gilson is not known to be easy to catch and will ignore most bait. To make matters worse, the gilson can move very fast, making it a rare sight. In the end, I was able to snatch me up this little guy with a very clever solution. Apparently, the gilson is sensitive to sound vibrations and will go into shock upon hearing some sweet music. So crank up the tunes, and this fish will be easy to grab. Crush the gilson into powder and stir into water for a powerful, soothing drink.
A fish? There's gotta be one here somewhere.
Nope. Ooh.
Now that's a fish.
Oh, yeah, right.
He's too fast.
Right. Music.
Maybe if it was closer.
I don't know. No. Okay. Laboratory. But I'm pretty sure there's something about the piano. Wait. Oh. Of course. Maybe if it was closer. Jeez.
That did it. Looks like the fish is asleep. Got you. You can't get away from me, you little stinker. Hello?
I forgot the Gilson again, didn't I? And there's some already ground up in the kitchen too. I'll bring it up to your room straight away, shall I? Oh, and maybe you could put Harold back in his tank. He does so hate the dry air.
Return to my bedroom. Sure.
Now, just 3 sips of water. 1. 2. 3.
Oh, jeez. I was not prepared. I thought she was going to pass out, but I didn't expect someone else to be there as well. Oh my.
I was almost afraid you'd miss my party. What?
Oh.
What's going on? Oh, it seems you're just a little overwhelmed. It's all right, honey. I understand. It's not every day one gets to bask in the glory of an angel. Angel? Alice Angel, to be exact. That's who I am. Sent from above, impended in perfection.
What do you want?
Right to the chase. I like that. The truth is, honey, you're one of a kind. And to put it bluntly, what I want is your face removed, your skin peeled away like paper, and your insides torn out and tossed onto my table. Custom parts, ready for my delicious harvest. And with your generous sacrifice, I'll be beautiful. But for now, let's have fun. Plenty of time for a bloodbath later. Ooh, how about a game? Let's all play a game of riddles.
Riddles? What a wonderful idea!
No.
All right, honey. Here's the deal. Behind you is the door to freedom. But it will only be opened if you solve my little puzzle and return to your special chair. Then I'll throw this switch here. If you get the puzzle right, you walk away. Get it wrong, you'll fry. Let's begin.
But yeah, on that note, I think I'm going to end this episode here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and good night.